Macau, a classic scene of touring car championship finales, and in 2024, 166 days ago, the Kumho FIA TCR World Tour field took to the unforgiving circuit to do battle one final time. Outstanding victories from Ted Bjork and Dusan Borkovic were merely the background for all of the drama and all of the controversy of a fantastic weekend of racing where, for the second time in the history of the World Tour, Norbert Michaelis was crowned our champion. On to 2025 and the World Tour field descend upon the beautiful Autodromo Hermanos Rodriguez circuit in Mexico City, a technical track at 3.9 kilometers with 15 turns, a perfect venue to kick off the 2025 racing action. In terms of drivers, it'll be returning double champion Norbert Michaelis that leads the pack for BRC Hyundai N Squadra Corsa. New challengers and of course Lynk & Co Cyan Racing with Ma Qinghua, Santiago Urrutia and Yann Ehrlacher alongside Ted Bjork behind the wheel. Aurelian Comp joins the grid with SP Competition alongside new teammate John Felipe, and for Mexico, 24 drivers would line up on the grid for this first race of the season, 14 of whom would be racing under the World Tour banner and 10 for TCR Mexico. A fantastic venue, a field of touring car greats and up-and-comers, and as the sun sets on preparations, we get ready to go for what should be an incredible year ahead. Getting ready to go qualifying for the first round of the Kumho FIA TCR World Tour alongside TCR Mexico at the Autodromo Hermanos Rodriguez circuit, or to you and I, Mexico City. And 10 drivers go through into Q2. Esteban Guerrieri breaks the timing beam with a 1:33.742, and that is a pole position and a half. That's our provisional results then. It is Esteban Guerrieri from Yann Ehrlacher and Ted Bjork. So let's have a look at the starting grid. It's Esteban Guerrieri from Yann Ehrlacher, Ted Bjork and Nacho Montenegro rounding out your first 4 drivers. Then we see Santiago Urrutia in 5th, just ahead of Aurelian Compt, with Ma Qinghua and Julio Rejon in 7th and 8th positions respectively. Starting out at P9 will be John Felipe alongside Rodrigo Rejon, and then Michel Jourdain Jr. starts 11th, just ahead of reigning champion Norbert Michaelis. Around the timing tower, and in a few moments' time, things are going to get noisy, things are going to get excited, and the 2025 season kicks off in full. Yellow flags waving at the back of the pipe. Somebody's had a bit of a dramatic start. Yann Ehrlacher's up there as well at the front of the field. Esteban Guerrieri not getting a start at all. Guerrieri from pole position disappears from shot completely. That is a nightmare for Esteban. That is the 112 currently leading our pack Santiago Urrutia, what a start! Further down, Ray on at the head of the field. It is Santiago Urrutia, Yann Ehrlacher in second position, Ray Hahn in third, and then Aurelian Comte already up to fourth place. That's a really strong start for Aurelian Comte. Mikel Azcona making his way through the pack as well. Azcona, remember, damage to that car in qualification in the GOAT Racing pit lane. It looks so good to start this race, and it's gone so wrong. Let's take another look then. There's Montenegro, catches the curb on the inside. The damage was already done. You can see the rear of the Honda very close for one of the BRC drivers as well to not collect the back of that machine, but the damage already done. Santiago Aurelian Comte in third position. Let's take another look at that start. What happened there? A few drivers very slow off the line, not least of which is John Philippi there. Esteban Guerrieri as well that we saw at the front of the field. Almost like the front two rows were in slow motion as everybody else very quickly made their way through. It's now showing through in the racing as well. As at the front of the field we have a little swapster. Yann Ehrlacher just swapping positions with Santiago Urrutia. More strategic play than anything else. Both of those drivers absolutely dictating the pace at the front of the field. They've got a relatively comfortable gap to Aurelian Comte behind. Scion Racing Lincoln Co has to be said, first and second position. Then fourth place, just a little bit further back with Ted Bjork. Where is Mar? Down there in ninth position is Mar. So good place, potentially, for a race 2 starting position. Well, what was it Andy Prio once said? Every point you can take, you take it when you can. And that's exactly what these drivers have been doing now. As Yann Ehrlacher thinks about the outside line. Santiago Urrutia, though, doesn't want to play that team game at this moment in time, and I may have to take back my earlier statement. Maybe this is not so much team play. The body language of these two Lincoln Co's does suggest that we're perhaps not quite playing the game as much as we would like to be doing. Let's take a little replay at the contact that we saw between our two race leaders, teammates as well. Just heading into the stadium. Little snatch break. Now look at this one. This is an opportunity and 3/4 for Yann Ehrlacher. Goes one way, goes the other. Urrutia working on the wheel, trying to keep that car on the brakes in a straight line. Now to the outside, the French driver. It will become the inside. He doesn't have the real estate, doesn't have the racing room. Has to go the other way around the tyre stack. He'll have to give that one up, will Yann Ehrlacher. I am absolutely sure of it. But Yann Ehrlacher doesn't look too enthusiastic. Urrutia now to the inside. This is a play for race lead. Santiago Urrutia, the Uruguayan driver, retakes that race lead. A little bit of secondary contact as well. And while they're squabbling, Aurelian Comte smells blood in the water. Opportunity knocks for Aurelian Comte. Let's take another look now. This is how the positions initially changed. It was deep for Santiago Urrutia. Ehrlacher given no option but to try the outside line. Traditionally would become the inside, but there's a pesky tyre barrier. Ehrlacher avoids any further contact, does theoretically take the race lead in a semi-artificial way, but they'd re-swap back over again. So all's fair in love and war, and Santiago Urrutia now knows he's got a race on his hands. There is going to be no quarter asked and no quarter given amongst teammates. Make no mistake about it, this is not formation flying. This is not orchestrated driving to the checkered flag, folks. This is a race for position between two drivers that would dearly like to very much affirm the fact they're the number one choice in their respective team. Once again, biggest winners so far in this one, got to be Santiago Urrutia. 4 places gained to be our race leader. Been a good start for Santi. one of the biggest losers is John Filippi. John, having lost 6 places from a reasonably solid into some kind of mistake. Julio Rejon doing an absolutely incredible job, it has to be said, but not quite good enough, because there comes Marcin Guar. There goes any kind of racing rules, and they certainly finding it in the race. Let's have a look now at the front of the field. To the inside, to the outside, take your pick. Yann Ehrlacher, don't hit the back of your teammate though. That's the only rule, and that's about as close as 2 touring cars are likely to get until the merge into one. A little bit further back as well, Ted Bjork. And I think Yann Ehrlacher, stung as he was from a disappointing 2023 season, will be more than a little bit enthusiastic in finding his way past. 3 wins, 5th overall in the Drivers' Championship for Yann Ehrlacher. He dearly loved to say, will we have a new champion? It's a long way to go with the first race weekend of the season. But Yann Ehrlacher definitely has the target, definitely has the outside line, and most certainly is feeling incredibly brave indeed. Look at this one. 2 touring cars fitting in a gap where about 1 1/3 would normally go. Said Esteban Guerrieri. Oh, what are we looking at here? That is quite the moment. See at the back of our shot a few drivers. That's Yann Ehrlacher losing his right-hand side wing mirror. There's a bit of a battle pack amongst our TCR Mexico competitors. A little bit further down, some of the walking wounded. It seems to be out on track. The Audi. But the real focus now is on this man, Marcin Guar, and that is last of the late breakers. Reliant Cock did not see that one coming in a month of Sundays. Mar does well to get the car slowed down. He's vulnerable though on exit. This is an opportunity now for Yann Ehrlacher. A mix of pace, a mix of consistency, and a mix of aggression. And for the first time in 2025, we have a Kumho FIA TCR World Tour winner, and that winner is Yann Ehrlacher, making a 1-2-3 for Lincoln Co. Cyan Racing. Ted Bjork crosses the line in 2nd place. Santiago Urrutia rounds out the podium finishers. But not before we watch this man celebrate his moment in the slightly hazy sunshine of Mexico. Let's have a look then at our provisional round 1 results. It's Yann Ehrlacher, Ted Bjork and Santiago Urrutia for an all Lincoln Co. podium. Esteban Guerrieri and Reliant Cock for 4th and 5th after a fantastic fight with Marcin Guar in 6th position.
Pablo terminará la jornada sabatina.
Okay folks, things are about to get loud, things are about to get excited. The green flag at the back of the grid is waved, all eyes on the starting gantry. It's another fast turnaround, and that is a lovely start from Mikel Azcona at the front of the field. Marcin Guar as well, looking to be incredibly sharp off the line in the Lincoln Co. Cyan Racing machine. He's met by a wall of touring cars, and look at the second phase of the start. Azcona, having got away from the line initially very well, is being swamped by the field. Through the middle goes Reliant Cock. Look at that for a start. There we can see just about Michel Jourdain Jr. hanging on in the middle of the pack. Little bit of contact. Rejon comes together with one of the Hondas. That's got to be Esteban Guerrieri. There's an absolute drama in the middle of the pack. Someone facing the wrong way. One of our BRC drivers, Norbert Michaelis, I think that was, wrapped up involved in the middle of that one. Look at the damage that we can see on the Hyundai car as well. Is that Azcona? Yes, it is. Side by side he goes with the trio of Lincoln Co. drivers. Somebody else off the racetrack a little bit further round as well. Plenty of drama in the opening stages. That is not a healthy looking BRC Hyundai. Azcona make a very, very firm look at Mikel Azcona, because we're not going to see that car for a great deal longer. I am absolutely certain of it. Fortunately for Ted Bjork, he's managed to make his way past the hobbled machine, but just behind, just like the Honda's good as well. Look at Aurelien Comte, hard on the defensive. This is for the race lead. Around the outside goes Esteban Guerrieri. Is going to very quickly run out of racing room, but Guerrieri in absolutely no mood to take prisoners whatsoever. That's a beautiful, reduce the amount of smoke coming on the back of that BRC Hyundai Elantra N TCR. So Azcona, I thought he was heading straight to the scene of retirement, but it does look like things are calming down. Let's take a look what happened then. Around the outside line, no contact between the two drivers, but the outside line's got all the marbles. Not a great deal of grip on there as well, Carlos Azarte. Goes Ehrlacher then, leaving the nose for a very long time up the inside of Aurelien Comte. Aurelien didn't feel the need to close the door, but I think he's going to have to reassess that one. Shows the nose to the inside. The Audi will recognise the threat. We'll see the blue flags. We'll get off of the loud pedal to allow both of these through. Is it a chance now for Ehrlacher though? Body language says yes. Track position says no. Ehrlacher to the inside, last of the late breakers. Gets the car down onto the apex in beautiful style. Aurelien Comte immediately tries to counter-attack with the switchback. Doesn't have track position. Trying to find a little bit of clear air. Let's take another look at exactly what happened. So Nacho Montenegro to the inside nice and early. Gets the car very, very squirrely on the brakes. Jourdain trying desperately to hang on to this one. But Montenegro, that is not ideal for Esteban. That's going to compromise him through the stadium section. We're running out of places now though. Ehrlacher looks one way, looks the other. Tries to use alternative racing lines, but Esteban Guerrieri hits the loud pedal through the final corner. Yann Ehrlacher tries to go to the outside line, but it is Go Racing. It is Esteban Guerrieri that takes race victory in round 2. Go Racing feel like they've been around forever, don't they? Really, really good team, really well put together professional outfit.
We started the P7, very good start. Now the start procedure was right, was correct, so we all could make a decent start. I choose around the outside into turn 1, which normally you get a good run into 2, which paid very well. I was P3, I think. And then I managed to make some good moves and advance to first. Then I put up a pace, which was very good. I mean, constant, the car was much better than yesterday. But for some reason, the last 5 laps, I started to feel a vibration. Increasing in the front left, also a bit in the front right. And the last lap was definitely my last lap.
You should try roll bar disconnected.
Say that again.
He talks me about setup, because he drove the Honda but some years ago.
Here's confirmation then of our provisional results for round number 2. It is Esteban Guerrieri from Yann Ehrlacher, Aurelien Comte in third from Marchinquois, and then Ted Bjork and Santiago Urrutia are our top 6. And let's take a look at our starting grid. It is Esteban Guerrieri from Ted Bjork on the front row, Yann Ehrlacher, Santiago Urrutia on row 2. In 5th position, Aurelien Comte alongside Marchinquois, Michel Jourdain Jr. and Rodrigo Rejon, a 7th and 8th position. Lined up on the grid, and in a few moments' time, the lights will go out and we will be racing for round 3 of the Kumho FIA TCR World Tour, and that is an horrendous start for Yann Ehrlacher. In the middle of the pack, he was hoping for a good run down into T1. He got a slow start from the line, but Esteban Guerrieri converts pole position into the early advantage. That's a great start from Guerrieri. Just behind him is Ted Bjork in the Lincoln Co. There is Aurelien Comte already up in the 3rd position. And as I see 2 more Lincoln Co's climbing over the bike, everybody makes its way through. T1 relatively straightforward. This little chicane has been the pinch point previously on one of our BRC Hyundai N Squadron Corsa cars, I think it was. went off onto the gravel. They're back onto the racetrack though, so no harm, no foul. But at the head of the field is Guerrieri from Bjork, then Ehrlacher and Comte, and just behind is the rest of the pack. Michel Jourdain Jr. getting very interested indeed into the rear of Nacho Montenegro. Who was that? That was one of our BRC cars off of the racetrack. We're going to pick it up a little bit later. Can't make out the name. No number on that one. It's Mikel Azcona. Oh dear, Mikel Azcona. His weekend goes from negative to negative story. It has not worked out well for Azcona. Sipek Bushiralami and Norbert Michelis still on the racetrack, so they're doing okay. But for Mikel, the young Spanish driver, it is all falling apart once again. Rodrigo Rejon trying to find a way past Michel Jourdain Jr. just behind them. That is the number 168 machine trying to find his way past Yann Ehrlacher. What a nightmare start for Yann. Things are not working out very nicely at all off of the line, but the car looks undamaged, so Ehrlacher has a recovery drive ahead of him down there in 9th place. In zero mood to hold back at this moment in time. He's wanting to go with teammate Ted Bjork as soon as possible. Comte has a look to the inside. Absolutely no space for a TCR touring car on that occasion. And Urrutia holds on to the position. That opens the door potentially for Marcin Quart to get very interested. We'll take another look at Mikel Azcona, and I'm afraid to say that is day done for the Spanish driver and Italian team. Tries to find the inside line. That one's been covered. Elects to go around the outside. Will he get it done on the brakes? No. Marcin Quart a little bit later. He's going to run Nacho out of the room, but no. Nacho Montenegro elbows out in very fine style. Anything you can do, I can do better, says Montenegro, and he takes that position away. Fantastic move. Well, let's take another look at this race start. Terrible start there for Yann Ehrlacher. Fantastic drone shots here. Ehrlacher getting swallowed up by the field, thankfully. So well worth getting the running in for Mikel Azcona. And what are we having a look at here? Oh, around we go on his own. Andreas Orea. Heavy contact with the wall as well, which is really unfortunate there for Orea. Hopefully, safety car conditions as Orea's. Right then, Esteban Guerrieri has hit the loud pedal relatively early, but Ted Bjork, immediately aware of that one, goes with him. It is Guerrieri that is going to break the timing screens. We're under green flag conditions once again for the final 9 minutes and 1 lap. It's a good restart for the GOAT Racing Honda driver. She's part of this racetrack, but never at the same time as Rejon. Although that could change. The dive to the inside becomes the outside. Out on racetrack, building up a gap not once, but twice. Survived the safety car, survived the start that he struggled so much with in race 1 and the onslaught of the Lincoln Co cars behind. But Esteban Guerrieri, a flash of the lights, will take the checkered flag and win round 3 of the Kumho FIA TCR World Tour here in Mexico. Straight onto the right. Great shots, but as a mechanic, I'm sure they'll be thinking, please don't do that one. I've got to hammer that paddle back out again now for Valencia. Look at that, Esteban Guerrieri.
Beautiful race. The car, I told the guys, probably was one of the best cars I drove in touring cars since a while. Because, I was just managing the pace. Obviously, we didn't have the problem with the tire this race. The safety car helped a little bit as well, but I think still without the safety car, my tires would have lasted. So we did a good change during in between race 2 and race 3. So beautiful. I love being here in Mexico. Gracias a todos los fans. Gracias, estuvo espectacular todo el fin de semana. Magic weekend, thank you.
Let's take a look at our provisional results for round 3 of the Kumho FIA TCR World Tour. Esteban Guerrieri by a nip under 2 seconds from Ted Bjork and Santiago Urrutia. That's it then from Mexico City for the Kumho FIA TCR World Tour opening round of 2025. Ted Bjork and 2 wins for Esteban Guerrieri mark what has been an incredible start to a season that should be even better than ever before. We're back in action at the beautiful Valencia Ricardo Tormo circuit on the weekend of the 13th to the 15th of June. Until then, thanks for watching, see you next time, and goodbye.